Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my first watch-along for Spurs in pre-season against Vissel Kobe, the J-League champions, I believe. Kickoff is in just over 10 minutes, so make yourself comfortable. Welcome along. Hopefully, we're going to see a good game. The other two games that we've watched so far in pre-season, the one against Hearts and the one against QPR, have both been decent games. We've seen very good run-outs from a lot of the young lot as well. So hopefully we can see more of the same today. First thing I sort of want to have a look at is the starting 11. If I can figure out how to do it. Share screen. There we go. So, yeah, I just sort of want to talk through the starting 11 first before the game kicks off. Ange's gone pretty strong again, which is always good to see. And I say that it's only like 3 weeks until the season starts. What is it? 17th of August is the Friday night game. So, in 17th, 18th, and we're playing on the Monday. So, yeah, it's literally like 3 weeks until the season starts. And we're starting to sort of hopefully see a shape of what the team is going to look like over the first couple of games of the season. And yeah, it's good to see the likes of Vicario back in goal. Pedro Porro again at right back. It looks like we're playing Archie Gray and Emerson Royale out of position again, which is a little bit disappointing to see. I'm a very big fan of Archie Gray, and I've really enjoyed what I've seen of him over the last couple of games. And I sort of want to see what he can do at either right back or central midfield, because that is just where we're going to see him play for Spurs over the season. So it looks like he is going to be playing centre back again alongside Emerson Royale. Ben Davies is finally back into a team. It looks like he's overcome his injury, so he looks like he's going to be playing a left back. So that is the back four and goalkeeper. Still no Mickey van der Ven, still no Vicario. Still no Christian Romero, and still no Dragoshin. But hopefully Dragoshin is going to be back towards the latter stages of the tour when we head over to South Korea. Midfield, it looks like we're playing a 3 again. So it is Pat Matassar, Yves Basuma, and James Maddison. That could well be one of the midfield threes that we see in the Premier League when we get there over the first couple of weeks. It looks like Lucas Bergvall is on the bench. So yeah, not too bad of a midfield. That I don't mind it too much. Basuma, I thought, had a really, really good game against QPR the other day. And hopefully he can pick up that form that helped us so much in the opening 10 games of last season, because he was integral to that midfield, and he was one of the reasons why we started how we started. So fingers crossed he can be that guy again this season, and not dip in form as we saw when he got that red card against Luton, which was just, yeah, we won't talk about that, don't worry. And then, of course, Pap Sarr, don't need to say too much on that. James Maddison, he's another player that we're hoping can sort of pick up form again towards the start of the season, because we need him. I know that injury derailed his season a little bit, but we need him if we're going to be a successful team again this season. Kulusevski had to come on early for Bergvall against QPR, and he had a really good game, I thought. So hopefully he can pick that back up. Brennan Johnson, I want to see a little bit more from him today. I know he put in a good couple of crosses to Son in that QPR game, but perhaps he needs to be a little bit more clinical and decisive with his actions in the final third. And then Sonny playing as that solo striker again. I've actually been putting together a video on YouTube about our striker hunt, which is going to be coming out tomorrow. So hopefully we won't have to see Son in striker for too much longer, which is really cool, which would be really nice to see. But, you know, there's almost 250 of you on the stream with me at the moment before the game's even kicked off. So thank you so much for coming along and joining me this morning. The support over the various platforms the last few days has been immense, whether it's been on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it's been. So thank you very much for that. Hello to everyone who's in the comments. Matt, I see you. How you doing, man? Zoe, hello as well. Zoe says, hopefully the increased competition for positions in midfield pushes some of the regulars on. Let's hope. Obviously, the young talents of going to be the key to pushing those people on. So let's hope that they can do that. And let's hope we see a lot of them in today's game as well. I want to run through the bench quickly as well, actually. So we have got the usual suspects on the bench. Brandon Austin, Luca Gunter. Gunter, I thought, had an amazing second half against QPR. I thought he was brilliant. And there was a lot of talk about the way the academy plays and how similar it is to the way that Ange sets his team up. And I agree with that. He was confident. He liked to play on the front foot and quickly. It'd be interesting to see if Austin and Gunter get like a half of a half against Vissel Kobe as well today. George Abbott as well. Of course, Jed Spence. Jed Spence has been probably one of the most impressive players in pre-season, in my opinion anyway. I think that he has come back from his loans spell and really kicked on. And there's been a lot of reports circulating over the last couple of days saying that he's been training individually with the assistant coaches. So, and that he has impressed the Tottenham coaching staff as well, just in general, in terms of his attitude and stuff since he's come back. So keep an eye on that one. He may be the guy to sort of give Pedro Porro that competition this season, especially as Emerson Royale looks like he's edging closer to that move to AC Milan, looking like it's going to be around about 20 million euros. So, we don't mind that, to be honest. And if Jed Spence can stay disciplined and keep his attitude in check, then I'd have no problems with him being in that first team squad this season. Then we've got Ashley Phillips, Ollie Skip, Alfie Devine, and Tyrese Hull. I would imagine they'll all get on the pitch at some point today as well. Alfie Devine has looked bright. Phillips, I'm hoping to see a little bit more of. I'm surprised that he doesn't start Phillips in centre-back for one of Royale or Gray, just because he is a natural centre-back. But I guess Andrew's sort of wanted to manage the minutes over the pre-season games, which is fair enough as well. And then we've got Lucas Bergvall, Jamie Donnelly, Mikey Moore, Manor Solomon. Mikey Moore, I think Spurs played a Japanese youth team behind closed doors the other day, and Mikey Moore got another goal or two. So, yeah, let's hope he can keep his run in pre-season of either scoring or assisting going. That would be really sick as well. And again, I've spoken about him a lot, and he's 16. I think he turns 17 in a couple of weeks. I think he has the talent to be able to fight for at least a place on the bench. He came on in 2 games last season towards the end of the season. And so it shows that Ange trusts him, and it shows that the talent he has is clearly there. And we rejected large bids from the likes of Chelsea and Real Madrid for him for a reason. So yeah, hopefully a lot more minutes for him today as well. And then we've got Dane Scarlett, Alejo Valise, and Will Lancashire. Lancashire, out of the 3 of those, is the one, again, that I'm really excited to see. So it's a good team. Lots of options on the bench. And I think we're going to be in for a good game, hopefully. Oh, by the way, excuse the wet hair. I have literally just got out of the shower. It's been a bit of a rush this morning, so I appreciate that it looks a bit scruffy. But hey-ho. Anyway, Lewis, how you doing, mate? Who from this starting 11 do you think will be starting our first Premier League game? Quite a few of them, to be honest. I think Vicario, obviously, Pedro Porro, probably Basuma, Sarr, and Maddison likely will all start. And then I think the front 3 might be the front 3 as well in terms of Johnson, Son, and Kulusevski. Timo Werner, I think, misses out today due to a slight injury, which is fine. Hopefully rest up. Who are you? Dave says, who are you playing? Who should be winning 6 or 7-0 minimum? I mean, yeah, there's no denying, Dave, that Spurs should be winning the game comfortably. Teams are just out, sort of shaking hands and getting ready to go now. But yeah, playing the J League champions, Vissel Kobe. I think that's how you say it, Vissel Kobe. I don't know if I'm missing something towards the end there. But yeah, it's hopefully going to be a good game. And I'm just excited to watch Spurs, man. That's why I'm doing these watch-alongs, just to sit down and watch Spurs and see what they can do. Don't care who the opposition is, to be honest with you. Zoe says probably doesn't want to unnecessarily risk Phillips if they're looking to loan him, maybe. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. It depends, really, because defensive options, I don't know if they're necessarily like as strong as they perhaps could be. Do we need... I suppose if you've got Dragusin, Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, perhaps there's scope to loan Ashley Phillips out again to the Championship is where I'd be looking for him to go. God, it looks hot in Japan. I'm just watching Son sort of walk up to the centre circles with the banners and stuff, and he looks warm. It looks very hot and sweaty there. For guys watching or wanting to watch the game, obviously it's available on Spurs Play. If you do subscribe to that, I appreciate that a lot of people don't pay for it. But I believe that they are streaming it on YouTube. I think the official J League account is streaming it on YouTube, so you can pull it up if you want to watch it for free. And I believe if you've got a Paramount Plus account, that is also being streamed for free on there. So, yeah. I'm just looking at the formation coming up, and it's suggesting it's a 4-2-3-1 with Sarah and Basuma sitting behind, a 3 of Madison, Johnson, Kulusevski with Son as a lone striker. That seems about right to me. I like the look of this lineup. Take away the defence because that's going to change drastically. Basuma, Sarr, Madison, Kulusevski, Johnson on the left, and then Son up top. I don't mind it. I'm going to just get my timer up so we can keep an eye on... Oh, hang on a second, actually. I'm going to miss the start. I'm going to miss the timer. Oh, gosh. I'm going to miss it. Hang on a second. I'm just getting a timer up so people that are joining throughout can see where we are. Stopwatch. Oh, no, we're not there yet. Right, we are about to get underway. They are waiting to take the kickoff. Pitch looks a bit artificial. I don't know if it is an artificial pitch, but it looks very fake almost. Right, we're underway. We are going. Spurs versus Vissel Kobe in their first preseason game of the tour is underway. Hopefully, we're going to see the fitness levels, a lot of pressing, and a lot of intensity. Intensity is just what I want to see. I want to see us go for it. I want to see us take the initiative early. I want to see us take the lead early and go from there. Dave says, shows how much J League I watch. Yeah, I mean, I don't think many of us watch the J League, to be honest with you, Dave. I think it's safe to say that only the very seasoned veterans watch the J League, as James Maddison is fouled very early. I know I'm a big fan of James Maddison, obviously, for a lot of different reasons, but yeah, he's probably going to be injured again at some point just because of how many fouls are put on him. Oh, God, there's another flying tackle goes in. Good play through the middle, trying to play it out to Brennan Johnson, but it looks like that is going to go out of play. That is unfortunate. Oh, lost my stream. So what do we reckon? Give me some score predictions in the chat. What do we reckon it's going to be today? I saw someone saying we should be winning 6 or 7-0. Do you think that's going to be the case? I don't know. I'm not sure that's the case at all. I don't know what it's going to be. So he says, I'm assuming this is about Maddison. He needs that Euros pain, use that Euros pain and strength going into the season, and we'll have quite the player. Yeah, do you know what? I agree. I do agree with you. I think that it actually might be a bit of a benefit to him, purely because I think Maddison will have been genuinely very hurt by the fact that he was left out of the Euro squad. And what better way to prove, especially with a new manager coming in for England, what better way to prove that you are annoyed than by having a really good campaign and going from there and just playing well. Because I think Maddison, when he's on form, is one of, if not, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say that he is our best player, but he is definitely one of them. So yeah, hopefully he can get to that form that, you know, first 10 games of last season were really, really impressive from him. There's a nice bit of defending there from Spurs. Keep hold of the ball. Looks like we're going to dominate possession. The Vissel Kobe sort of just, they're half pressing us at the moment, which isn't causing us any problems. So it looks like it's going to be perhaps a case of being patient and then having to go from there. Ooh, so, how's everyone's weekend going? Nearly 700 of you in here, by the way. Did anybody watch the Olympics opening ceremony last night? Absolutely nuts, honestly. I had to write a report on it for work, and I just didn't know where to start because there was so much going on. It's a bit of a loose pass from Pedro Porro there. Done well to win it back as Brandon Johnson. That's good. It's good play. We're looking sharp with the passing. It's looking... Oh, God, I say that. James Maddison gives it away. And they're breaking. J-League breaking. They're looking to get a cross into the box, but it doesn't really. It goes all the way through. I'm sorry, but I don't really know any of the names of the players from Vissel Kobe. They got a chance here, though. Going to line up a shot. Good block. Ben Davies doing well to get in front of the ball there. That was good. And then a crossing goes behind for a goal kick. Congratulations to Ben Davies, by the way, on 10 years at Spurs. I think that makes him our longest serving player across the last decade. 10 years at one club is pretty insane in the modern game. So absolutely fair play to him. Don't mind it at all. I think he's one of those players that's happy to sit and be a squad player, especially at his age now. I think you need at least a couple of players with that experience to be able to go in and keep a calm head and mentor the younger players. I think Archie Gray was talking to the media a few days ago about how much of an influence Ben Davies has had since he's moved to the club, as Brennan Johnson tries to get down the line and put a cross in, wins the first corner of the game. It's good stuff. I do want to talk about Brennan Johnson a little bit, actually, because I see a lot of mixed opinions on him on Twitter, if that's where you're watching, or on YouTube, about whether he's good enough. And I think he can be. I think for a first season last year, he did moderately well. And I just think that in terms of his product, his end product in the final third, it does perhaps need to be a little bit better. But I think that comes with time and experience. He's still a young player as Maddison looks to play a cheeky little corner out to Basuma. It doesn't quite work out. Back to him. I don't think we're going to get it in the box here. I think we're going to end up having to go back and start again, which is a little bit frustrating. Just get the ball in the box, attack it. That's my view on things. Sunday League, I'm standing in the box. I'm like, get it in here. I want it on my head. So, yeah, a bit frustrating, that one. 734 of you in total watching with me, guys. Thank you so much. If you're watching on Twitter, thank you. And if you are watching over on YouTube, again, thank you so much. For those of you that don't know, I do have a YouTube channel that I'm putting sort of a lot of effort into over the last couple of days and trying to build up. So if you fancy subscribing, please head over there and hit the subscribe button. We are well over 250 subscribers now, which is what I was aiming for the start of the season. So we're going to change the target to I think we'll go for 300. If we can hit 300 subs by the time the season starts, that would just be incredible. It would mean a lot to me. So yeah, thank you very much. I'll stop plugging and get back to the game now. But yeah, I do appreciate most of you are watching on Twitter. And I have a TikTok account. Don't forget to follow that as well. I'm everywhere, basically. If you just search at Mitch Fretton or at Mitch_Fretton, you'll find me YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever, really. Good passing in the middle from Emerson. There's a bit of a mix-up between Ben Davis. Ben Davis has sort of gone into that inverted fullback role there, which is a little bit interesting. Oh, and it is 1-0. 1-0 to Vissel Kobe. What has happened there? I think there's a bit of a mistake from Papsar that Vicario is now moaning to him about. Bit of a mix-up, and Vissel Kobe take the lead 8 minutes into the game. So Emerson Morale plays a pass into Maddison. Maddison tries to turn it around the corner and gets in a bit of a mix-up with Davis, who's then out of position. So it's played out onto the right wing. It's crossed in. Papsar, there's no one within 20 yards of him. No one within 20 yards of Papsar, and he goes to clear it, completely fumbles the clearance, puts it straight across goal where there's only a Vissel Kobe player, and he's just there to tap it in. Really, really poor defending on Sar's behalf there, and Spurs are 1-0 down. That is not the start that we wanted. I will change the banner to reflect the score. Tottenham 0, Vissel Kobe 1. I am not sure who scored that. Yeah, not great. Not great. But hey-ho. Hopefully we can bounce back pretty quickly from that. Brennan Johnson's down injured. Woo! Not a great start. Not a great start at all. Thanks so much, Zoe. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Right, so that was a bit of a theme for Spurs last season, wasn't it? We're just sort of constantly went 1-0 down and had to fight our way back into the game. Long ball dealt with quite well by Ben Davis there. So we're 10 minutes in. I don't think we've had a shot on goal yet, but we are 1-0 down. Not ideal. It's a strong team. There are no excuses for this first half of the game. We need to be dominating. We need to be scoring goals before we make the changes. I would imagine either at half-time. I don't know if he might go to 60 minutes before making changes now, as we're getting well into pre-season, and he does need to build the players' fitness up past, I guess, just a half of football. But yeah, the theme of pre-season so far has been that what's up in there? Has been that the under-21s have just been performing better than the main team. Kulusevski wins a corner for Spurs, second one of the half so far. Psuma plays it out. Son plays it into James Maddison, who puts the ball across goal, and it's deflected behind for a corner before Kulusevski can get onto the end of it. Put this one into the box, please. Looks like it is going to go into the box. It's gone deep, deep, deep. Headed back across goal. No problem for the goalkeeper. Just collects it. Ben Davis got his head to that one, but nothing dangerous there. No, you're right. You are right, Zoe. It wouldn't be Spurs without the odd setback. Always the way. I don't know. I know there are a lot of people watching. Laying again. Is he offside? No, he's on. They're getting a lot of joy down that right-hand side up against Ben Davis. Although it's Pedro Porro out there marking at the moment. I'm not quite sure what's going on defensively, but it's not it's not too promising at the moment. It's really difficult to make a judgment on the sort of like defensive work that Spurs are doing in pre-season, just because we've not got any of our centre backs or our left back. You've got Udogie, who's not quite back from injury yet, and then you've got the three centre halves in Romero, Van der Ven, and Dragushin, who aren't back yet from their holidays. So you have to be a little bit more lenient with the defensive, I guess, criticism. But there are no excuses in attack. I think the only people we're missing are Werner and Richarlison, and we should be able to cope with them realistically, shouldn't we? So Vissel Kobe put a corner into the box. It's glanced out. Sonny's got the ball. Is he going to go on one of his runs, or is he going to end up turning backwards? No, he's going for it. Still got it over the halfway line. Wins the throw-in. Done well there. He's done well as captain, Son. I don't know what I was trying to remember what I was saying. I was talking to you, Zoe, about your comment about wouldn't be Spurs without a setback. You know, I know there are a lot of people watching on the stream right now who will probably be older than me, but I'm 26, and all I've known is constant pain when it comes to supporting and watching Spurs, and I just sit here season after season hoping that it's going to change. The Champions League final, I think, in 2019 has scarred me forever. I don't think I'll ever get over it. Unless, of course, we win it. You know, that's the dream. Just any trophy's a dream. I know that a lot of people probably sit here and think the same, but it just is the dream. Just to win something. You know, I down all tools, and if it meant we won the Carabao Cup this season, if we finished in the bottom half of the table, if we got knocked out of the FA Cup by a National League team, I'd take it all if it meant we won the Carabao Cup this season. I'm so desperate. I don't know if my standards are just low or if others agree with me. But, you know, it's just my opinion. It's a foul, isn't it? Yeah. Foul on Papsar. You know, Vissel Kobe they're getting very stuck in. They're getting stuck in with their challenges, and I think it's frustrating Tottenham a little bit. I was going to wear the new home kit today. I've got last season's home top on instead. I played football in the new home top. Oh, great turn by Kulusevski there. Plays it out to Brennan Johnson. Gives it back to Kulusevski. A little flick to Pedro Porro. Great goal. Wow. That was a fantastic goal. Pedro Porro. That was great work all round. It is 1-1. Pedro Porro with the goal. Really, really great work from Kulusevski, who sort of played the original ball in, got in behind, found the space, played it out to Brennan Johnson with a lovely little flick. Out to Brennan Johnson, gets it back to feet, knows Porro's behind him, little flick. Pedro Porro does really well with the fake shot. Keeper arguably could do better to save that, but Pedro Porro on his left foot puts it into the back of the net, and it is 1-1. Got to change the banner again. Oh, got to change the banner. So 1-1. Woohoo! Good stuff. Right, you said it, Zoe. It is just always making hard work for ourselves, and luckily we've got ourselves back into it quite early. So hopefully we can push on. We are getting pressed quite high into our own box now. Emerson Royale, I'm not sure what he's doing, but gives it away. And they've got the ball just outside our box now on that left wing. Won the throw-in. Interesting start. Yeah, Zoe, that's a very good point. 900 people on the stream, by the way. If we can get up to 1,000 at any point in this stream, I'd be genuinely blown away. I'm not expecting too much. Kulusevski's in here if Sonny can play him. Kulusevski takes the shot. Oh, side netting. That is unlucky. So Porro putting all that noise about Spence in one moment. Do you know what? I made a TikTok on Jed Spence the other day, which was picked up by quite a lot of people. And yeah, Pedro Porro has certainly made me shut my mouth. Did the keeper save that? I think the keeper saved that. Might have been going on target. Really, really good move. Sonny playing Kulusevski in behind. And throws his hands up in the air and then gives a little clap. We did get a corner out of it. Maddison on the ball now, trying to do his sort of fakes, loses it. And it looks like we're going to end up trying to go back and building, are we? Yeah, just keeping hold of possession for now. But yeah, I really like Jed Spence. And I was very excited about him when he joined from Nottingham Forest originally. And when he just didn't play for the first team and didn't get on with Conte, I was sort of sat here just like, well, what then? Like, his attitude must have been horrendous for him to be completely cast out of the team completely. But since doing those loan spells in France and in Italy, I think he must have changed his mindset, and he's been getting a lot of love from a lot of people. That wasn't a foul. In my opinion, that's not a foul. Sarr's been penalised for winning the ball back in quite a dangerous position, but for me, it wasn't a foul. But yeah, Jed Spence, he in the two halves that he's played in pre-season so far, I think he's done a very, very good job. I'm not necessarily saying that he has the same level of quality and ability that Pedro Porro has. Sorry, I keep itching my nose, by the way. I haven't taken my hay fever tablet this morning. And it's really getting on my nerves, itching my nose. I went out and played a bit of basketball with a few friends this morning. I think the pollen and the grass is getting to me. As K-League looks to play a long ball, and that's going to be swept up by Pedro Porro. But yeah, Jed Spence, I'd be more than willing to give a chance in the first team. If his attitude's fine and the reports are true saying he's been working individually with the coaching staff, I think that he is someone that could provide competition for Pedro Porro, and I think he needs it. I don't think Emerson Royale necessarily provides it too much. Oh, that's a great turn from Basuma. Basuma's just had... we are playing some football. This is lovely. Brendan Johnson, is he going to play it across to Sonny? Offside flags up. That was. I'll come back to what I was saying about Jed Spence in a minute, but Basuma's just been pressed by about 4 people, and he's done the silkiest sort of little. That's not offside. Lino's flagged for offside for a ball that just isn't offside. But yeah, so. He's done an amazing turn, and he sent all 3 of them the wrong way. Played a ball into Sarr, who's played a little sort of first time ball around the corner to Brennan Johnson, and who's tried to play it across the Son, but the offside flag went up, it was a really good move, and it earned another round of applause from Ange as well. But yeah, back to the idea of Spence being sort of resurgent. None of us playing over Porro business. Yeah, I can completely understand that. Pedro Porro is a key part of the way we attack games, I think. And I don't think his position is under threat. But Jed Spence could get minutes this season, whether it's in the Europa League, whether it's in the Cup, whether it's coming on late in games. And I don't think he'll mind that if it means he gets a strong foothold in the first team. Oh, what a touch from Brennan Johnson. Sometimes you just forget how good some of these players are. Someone's played a diagonal ball all the way across the pitch to Brennan Johnson. He's just plucked out of the air like it's nothing. And I'd pay so much money to be that level of good at football. Archie Gray on the ball now. I've not really seen any foot, and this is what I mean when I was talking about Archie Gray and what I want to see from him in pre-season, because he's playing at centre-back, but he's barely touching the ball. Where we're playing these teams and we're dominating possession, he's getting on the ball and he's playing one pass perhaps forward or sideways, and then that's about his contribution. And I want to see, having said that, he's just played a lovely ball through the lines into Kulusevski. Kulusevski's playing a much more central role, by the way. It looks like he's playing almost as a false 9, and Son's gone out onto that left wing. Maddison on the ball now. Plays a nice reverse ball to Sonny. Son has a go. Good save from the keeper. Great save from the keeper there. Good move again. Since going 1-0 down, Zoe, you called it. Since going 1-0 down, we've been playing some really, really good football. It's really good to see. We signed Kulusevski at 21. He's one of the experienced heads, Mad. Yeah, this is what I mean. The team, aside from, who have you got? You've got Son, who's, I think, 30 now. Ben Davis, who's in his 30s as well. But you've not got too many players that are that experienced birth who have got that head and are in their 30s to be able to drive a team forward. We're putting a lot of recruitment focus into young players, into your Archie Grays, into your Lucas Bergvalls. And although it may seem not necessarily strange now, but a lot of people perhaps getting a bit frustrated by it now, the players are just taking a drinks break, by the way. I did think it looked quite hot over there. They're taking a drinks break after the first half of the first half. But yeah, these players that we're signing now, in a few years' time, they'll have that experience and that level-headedness to really lead and guide this team forward. Because Ange says it, and he says it really well whenever he's talking to the media. They're just showing a replay of the goals, and yeah, that move for the Pedro Porro goal is amazing. Is Sonny really 32 now? That's crazy. I don't know why I thought he was younger than that. I don't know why I thought that Sonny was younger than Kane for whatever reason. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, Ange says it brilliant. They're just showing possession stats as well on the screen. 69% possession in the game. I don't think any of us expected much less than that. But yeah, anyway, going back to my point, Ange says it fantastically well. He says that he's not here just to take part. He wants to win. And, you know, he is building that squad in a way that he thinks is capable of being able to win. And I think that if he continues getting the backing, and I think that's why a few fans are getting a bit frustrated this summer, because we haven't managed to land his targets yet. And Ange was very vocal at the end of last season in saying he wants to get his signings done early again, like we did last season. He wants to get them integrated to the squad and be ready to go from that very first game in the Premier League against Leicester. And we haven't been able to do that this season. We don't even know who the targets are. We know that Spurs really like Eberechi Eze. We know that Ange is a big fan of Pedro Neto. We know that we have a slight interest in Ivan Toney, but we haven't actually heard whether we are going to make a bid or have made bids for any of those players. Eze has that release clause that Palace are looking for up front. Emerson Morale making a good block there to stop Vissel Kobe getting in from in behind. We know Pedro Neto, perhaps the club have doubts about him because of his injury record. And then Ivan Toney as well. I'm not sure I'm going to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Bless me. Sorry. Like I said, hay fever's absolutely killing me. I was kicking my ass. Perhaps Sar's just gone to make another clearance and sent it out for a corner with no pressure on him. But yeah, and the Ivan Toney deal, perhaps that's one we're waiting on, because Brentford initially wanted quite a heavy fee for him. But with only 1 year left on his contract, that valuation is probably coming down, because teams know that Brentford will most likely want to, if not have to, sell him by the end of the transfer window. He doesn't want to be there. And he's been very vocal about it in his interviews, saying that he wants a new challenge. He wants to play in European football. So I can see why everybody is a bit frustrated with the lack of signings. I know the Archie Gray deal was a big money deal, if you look at it that way, in terms of 40 million pounds, and then Timo Werner on loan. But those are the only two bits of business that we've really done. 3 weeks to the season starts, you want to have the players in at least to make the squad for that first game of the season. I know we have time, and I know we've had to wait. I think Brennan Johnson came into the club quite late. I think, who else came in quite late? Mickey van der Ven was a late signing as well. So it's not necessarily always going to be that straightforward. But have faith. I think from what Paul O'Keefe has been saying online, Spurs are ready to go. And I think Zoe's just said it here in a comment. We're playing out from the back in such dangerous positions. Oh, Kulusevski's just been wiped out. He was through. He's poked the ball in front as he's latched onto a loose ball that's been played forward by James Maddison. He's latched onto the ball, poked it in front of the player. He was in. There was only one player. He poked it past him. He was going to be in on goal. He's been absolutely wiped out, and he looks like he's in quite a bit of pain. The Vissel Kobe player has been booked. That was a little bit of a naughty challenge. But yeah, coming back to your comment, Zoe. From all reports, it sounds like Spurs aren't the delaying parties. The summer tournament's putting a big delay on everything for everyone. Yeah, it's completely understandable. Like I said, Paul O'Keefe reckons that we've been waiting to go on 3 deals, but we just don't know who those 3 players are, which is the frustrating bit. But do you know what? I don't mind it, because when the news eventually does break that Spurs are gonna or are wrapping up a deal for whichever players it is we're going for, the mood around the club and online is just going to be brilliant. I'm noticing a lot in the game. Sorry to keep snatching tension from different attention from different things. I'm noticing a lot. The midfield players, Maddison, Basuma, and Sarr, are always trying to play through the lines. They're always trying to play the risky balls. That's offside, no? Yeah, he is offside. Thought Ben Davis was about to be caught again down that left-hand side for Spurs, but it is a flag up for offside. But it's... I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, the mood is just going to be brilliant. I see a lot of people talk about it on Twitter, the fact that social media these days sort of ruins the experience of potential signings, and they don't necessarily know that there's so many updates on players coming to clubs, and when the news breaks, as Spurs give it away in a dangerous position, and Vissel Kobe don't do anything with that. He tried to lob Vicario from quite far out, and that was never going to work. But yeah, there's no fun in transfers anymore, is what a lot of people say, and I do agree with it to an extent. I always see people say, could you imagine if you just turned up to the first game of the Premier League season and see all of the new signings on the squad list? It would be amazing. And it's crazy to think that once upon a time that did happen. Even, in my younger childhood, you had to rely on, I guess, Sky Sports News and the show to break the transfer news. But that just doesn't happen anymore in the world that we live in of social media. And that's okay. It is what it is. It means you can prepare, and it means, content creators like myself are able to make videos and give information ahead of time for players. So fans know all about who the club are signing and what they can do before it's perhaps even been announced. So there's flip sides to it. So it's just one of those, isn't it? Lange keeping it all in house. Spurs Twitter will crash when we eventually move. Yeah, you're right, Zoe. Honestly, you are right. It will be crazy. Kulusevski's having a really bright game again. And we've just hit the 1,000 viewer mark across the streams. That is insane. I didn't think I'd be hitting those numbers as Son unleashes a shot that goes... What's the old saying that we used to say? High, wide, and certainly handsome. Certainly not handsome. Oh, there's fireworks going off outside the stadium as well. That's nice. I don't know what the time is over in Japan at the moment, but I think it's quite late, and there's a load of fireworks going off, and the Japanese Spurs fans are doing a lot of singing as well. It seems a pretty good atmosphere over there, although, as I keep saying, it looks hot, like ridiculously hot over there. But yeah, it's the constant refreshing mentality. People want all the information and they want it straight away. They do. There's just like that need, isn't there? Because with social media, people are so addicted to the platforms and they're constantly on it throughout every day of their life. They want constant updates as well. And it's just, it's understandably frustrating a few Spurs fans this summer as well. Not sure how many ways you can say Spurs are interested in Eze. Eze's the one, man. If more reports came out today saying that Spurs are still monitoring and looking at Eze, I'd be over the moon. He's the one player I want. I just think he's made for Spurs, and I was gutted when he went to Palace originally, rather than when he left QPR and he went to Palace instead of Spurs. I was upset. Anyway, as I mentioned a second ago, I want to go back to it to say thank you again, because we're over 1,000 viewers on the stream across Twitter and YouTube. So thank you so much for everyone that is watching and listening along. I hope you're enjoying the game. We are 31 minutes in. It is Vissel Kobe 1, Tottenham 1. Spurs went behind quite early on to a Pat Matasar mistake, who he fluffed his clearance and gave it straight to an opposition player who put it past Vicario quite easily. But we did make up for it not too long after. A really nice flowing move between the midfield that was rounded off by Pedro Porro on his left foot. Put it past the keeper, and it is 1-1. just over 10 minutes to go until half-time. And since going 1-0 down, as I mentioned, it's been quite an encouraging performance. It's been good, dominating possession, getting in the right positions. We're definitely playing in a formation. That's a foul, no? Ben Davies goes down under pressure. Sonny going to make that ball? He is, but it trickles all the way through to the keeper. It's unlucky. Yeah, we're definitely playing a different formation to what I thought. Not a formation, but a different way to what I thought we were going to play. So Kulusevski is playing as the striker, with James Maddison quite high up behind him. And then Heung-min Son is on that left-hand wing with Brennan Johnson over on the right. So it's completely different to what I thought it was going to be. God, my nose is killing me, guys. Absolutely killing me with itchiness. Oh, horrible. Horrible. It won't stop itching. Guardiola making all the noises that City aren't doing much business this summer, so hopefully they don't come in for Eze if he's available. I think it's a really difficult one because on the one hand, I sit here and think if Spurs were that desperate for Eze and they were worried about Manchester City getting him, they would just pay the release clause. I know Palace are adamant that they want a huge chunk of that 60 million up front, but it just it's not necessarily a case of being able to fork up that money straight away. I don't know if it's something that they're able to do. It's a lot of money up front because you got to think when you pay these big deals, even the likes of when we signed Ndombele or when we signed Richarlison, that money is paid over so many years. It just there's a fly. Get out of here. There is a massive fly that has flown in through the open door. Get out. What's that Luke Bennett guy say? Get out. Get out. But yeah, so I don't think teams pay more than like 10 or 20 million in a first installment for many transfer dealings. So yeah, it's difficult, and Palace is certainly playing hardball. But you would, wouldn't you? Obviously, with Elise going to Bayern, you'd want to keep your second best or even best player, depending on how you rank them. And yeah, he could, Zoe. He could stay at Palace for one more season. It really depends. I'm holding out hope that we're going to go for him. I am holding out hope in that sense. There's not too much going on in the game at the moment, by the way. Hence why I'm talking about transfers again. We're keeping possession quite well, although Maddison's just played a lovely ball in for Son. He's played it across. Brennan Johnson. Oh, should be 2-1. Should be 2-1. I think it's actually a really, really good block from a Vissel Kobe defender. So Sonny's played in by Maddison. He puts in a brilliant ball with his left foot right across the face of goal so that the keeper can't come out and get it. Brennan Johnson looks like he's got to tap in, but the Vissel Kobe left back has managed to turn it behind for a corner somehow, and he celebrates like mad, pump in the air, screaming to his teammates. He's absolutely loving it. He's loving it. But Spurs do have a corner. Do we score from the corner? Who knows? All right, so another one of those corners out to the edge. I'm not quite sure what's gone on with the corner. These corner tactics aren't working. Oh, Archie Gray with a footwork. Oh, that's unlucky. So we played another corner out. Oh, he's won it back. Here comes Sonny. Is he going to have a go? He's going to play it to Basuma, who takes the shot, puts it over the bar. Archie Gray. This is what I mean, right? And I'm going to talk about it again. So Archie Gray, we've played a corner out to Emerson Royale, and it's not a great corner. It's fallen and we've lost possession of it. Archie Gray picks it back up and he sort of dances in between 3 or 4 players and then tries to play a ball out to Sonny on the left. The pass doesn't quite get there, but then he charges the Vissel Kobe player down and puts in a brilliant tackle to win it back. I love him. Honestly, Archie Gray has won me over, and we've not even seen him play in his natural position yet. But that is a taste of what he can do in central midfield. Really positive impact as Pedro Porro wins a free kick. I can't stop itching my nose. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to put some water on it on the sink behind me. Zoe says, are we okay to ask about transfers during the watch? Of course you are, Zoe. Ask away. Ask any questions you want. Ask any questions you want. I'm going to get a hay fever tablet at the same time. Any of you fellow hay fever strugglers will understand. You'll understand. That's better. I just put some water on my nose to stop the itching. And popped a hay fever tablet. Beautiful. Now we can crack back on. There's another chance for Vissel Kobe there. They sort of broke and the cross just wasn't really necessarily good enough. He meets it on the other side on the volley, but puts it out for a goal kick, really. Nothing spectacular. Since their goal, they haven't really threatened much at all, Vissel Kobe, which is how I thought the game was going to go originally. Another good ball from Maddison into the midfield. So he's picking up the ball and dictating a play a lot, Maddison, and he's playing the dangerous passes, which is what we like to see. We don't like to see this safe stuff. We like to see the dangerous passes being played through the lines. As Sonny now plays the ball. Kulusevski, unlucky. Nutmeg's one of the players, but loses out. I think Kulusevski's doing really well in that false nine role. He holds the ball up very nicely with his back to goal. It's quite impressive to see. Quite impressive. We are getting towards the end of the first half now. Hi to everyone that has joined midway through the game. Hope you're doing well. Spurs currently 1-1 against Vissel Kobe. Just having a look at possession there, 68% compared to 32% for Vissel Kobe. 4 shots for the opponent compared to Tottenham 6. Been a relatively decent performance. Nothing to absolutely rave about, but also nothing to worry about, I wouldn't say at the moment. It would be nice for the starters to perhaps get another goal before half-time and we start making the changes. Having said that, we've got a lot of players on the bench that are going to be able to come on and I'm arguably more excited to see. Will Lancashire, Mikey Moore, Lucas Bergvall, those are the 3 in particular that I really, really want to see as Pedro Porro does well to pick the ball back up on the right-hand side. Plays a little 1-2 with Pap Sarr. Goes for the cross, but it's claimed by the goalkeeper. So, for those of you guys watching, what do you think is going to be a realistic finishing position for Spurs this season in the table? Do you think we are going to be strong top 4 contenders this season? I know Ange talks a lot about wanting to win the league. I just... I think top 4 would be a successful season and then put absolutely everything into the Carabao Cup, FA Cup and Europa League. For me, that will constitute a good season. Our time will come under Ange. I'm convinced. I'm convinced in the project that he's building. I say that for every manager, though. Anyway. Or Maddison, that is... Ooh. Maddison takes one on the ankles, as he does, but it did come after he flicked the ball through the legs of a Vissel Kobe player. Really good. But he's looking sharp, Madders. He's looking sharp. As you said earlier, Zoe, hopefully he takes that sort of Euro snub to heart a little bit, if anything. And although that sounds a bit nasty, it will hopefully push him on this season. It looks good in the new kit. Suits him. I've grown to it, to be fair. Since I bought it, plays a short free kick out to Pedro Porro, who has a go from range, and it is charged down. Another bit of a waste. We're not putting the balls into the box. I guess we haven't got 2 big, strong centre. I don't even think Archie Gray got into the box for that free kick there. I guess we're missing the 2 powerhouse centre backs who could attack the ball from set pieces, and that's why we're playing short corners and free kicks. Pap Sarr does well with the ball. Gives away a free kick that I don't think was a free kick. You got a tip for hay fever for me, have you, Zoe? Tip for hay fever, a bit of Vaseline around the nose. Yeah, so I have a whole routine that I usually do where I take my tablet, I spray Beckinase up my nose, I have eye drops if I really need them. I've done the Vaseline trick before, actually, but not recently. So at half time, I might have to stick some on because the itching is not stopping, and it's really quite frustrating at this point. Quite frustrating. But thank you. I appreciate the advice. Just giving a nice zoom into Will Lancashire sitting on the bench. He's sweating and he hasn't even been running around yet. So God knows what he's going to be like when he gets onto the pitch. Last couple of minutes of the first half here. Vissel Kobe have just got a bit of possession at the moment. It's the first bit of sort of sustained possession they've really had across the entire first half. But it goes long, left back to left wing. Pedro Porro sweeps up, sends it back to Vicario, although it was on the bounce and he had to sort of just get rid of it. How you doing, Meta Football? Hope you're good, mate. Appreciate the support on the channel and for popping along to watch this as well. One of the Vissel Kobe players just changing their boots, going from black to blue. Must have seen the blue on the Spurs kit and been inspired by it. So, do you think we are going to make the changes at half time, or are we going to see Ange leave the starters out there for a bit longer? If it was me, and I know I'm not a professional football manager, I'd be inclined to leave the players out until the 60-minute mark, get the energy in the legs. I'm not sure when we play the K-League All-Stars. I think it's on Wednesday. So there's plenty of time to rest between now and then. So they do need to start building the fitness up, especially before we get to the K-League, not the K-League game, the Bayern Munich game, the first one, and then that second one at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Is anybody going to that game, by the way? Bayern v Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium I'm not sure if it's I think it's on the 10th of August, the week before the season starts, as Basuma plays a really poor ball, or tries to play a really poor ball out to Son and just completely loses possession. What? Last minute of the first half. I think it's been a relatively good performance, as I mentioned. But I can imagine the players are gagging for a break now as Pedro Porro's fouled. Does really well in the turn to turn past a few players and get forward. Yeah, K-League All-Stars on Wednesday. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I need to confirm it, and I'm not entirely sure if it's true or not. But apparently, Min-Hyuk Yang, the South Korean guy that we're signing from Gangwon FC, that's been doing the rounds over the last sort of couple of days, is supposedly in the squad for that game. I need to check it. I need to do the research and see how it goes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be really interested to see him play if he is in that squad. We're just into the last 30 seconds of the first half now. There was only 1 minute added on. Spurs have just got a bit of comfortable possession. I don't think it looks like they're going to do too much with it in the last 20 seconds here. I think they're just going to see it out and head in for half time. Just playing around with some comfortable possession. He looks decent. Yeah, I've done a YouTube video on him, which anyone watching can check out on the YouTube channel. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. Always got to get those plugs in. Yeah, I've done a YouTube video on him, and he's very impressive for an 18-year-old. Very impressive. I say we're not going to do anything here. Sonny's got the ball. Oh, he tries to put it for his legs, and Vissel Kobe clear it, and that is going to be half time. 1-1 at half-time between Vissel Kobe and Spurs. A relatively good performance from the Spurs starting 11 in this first half. After going 1-0 down, they responded really nicely. Pedro Porro getting the goal back after a lovely move that involved the likes of Kulusevski, James Maddison, Brennan Johnson as well. We're likely going to see a lot of changes in the second half, but it should be a good watch because we're going to get to see loads of the youngsters in action as well. But yeah, coming back to your point, Meta Football, he does look decent. Yeah, I appreciate it. Saw it. Appreciate you watching the video. Much love. Yeah, he is like the youngest K-League debutant. He's the youngest player to sign a professional contract in the K-League. He's like Gangwon FC's tops youngest goal scorer, the youngest player of the month in K-League history. There's a lot to be excited about by him. And I think he played the other day for Gangwon FC as well. It might have been yesterday. And he scored and got an assist as well. And it was a great goal. You can see it over on my TikTok channel. It was just inside the 18-yard box where he sort of smashed it into the top right corner. Keeper had no chance. And yeah, I think he actually spoke about it the other day. He mentioned that nothing is official yet, but it is looking like Spurs sort of are doing a deal for him. So he didn't give much away, but yeah. I think I'm just trying to see if I can find any sort of reaction on Twitter to that first half. I don't think I can show the goal. I'm not sure if I can show the goal while I'm broadcasting on YouTube because of copyright and stuff. So I won't. But I'm just gauging general opinion on that first half. I think most people are relatively content. A lot of people praising Pedro Porro for his first half. I have to agree with that. Welcome along, everybody who's joining at halftime. I see everybody's logging into Twitter and YouTube at halftime while the break's on. We've been enjoying the watch along. Decent little first half from Spurs. Sorry, Zoe, I missed your comment earlier. We've got to get behind a manager at some point and give them more than 12 months to do the job. Ange has the ideas and the ethos to succeed at Spurs because they are the same ideologies. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And I think we that is one of the main reasons why so many Spurs fans got behind him from the off. And we saw an immediate change in the way that we play last season. The Premier League last season was mixed, wasn't it? It was a very mixed season in terms of like results and how many goals we ended up conceding. But we scored a lot of goals, and there were some really positive moments. So I think the ideology is brilliant, and everybody talks about the Tottenham way of playing attacking football, playing on the front foot, being aggressive. And I just think over the last 5 or 6 years with the Mourinho era and the Antonio Conte era it's sort of took a bit of life. It took a bit of life out of the club in terms of when you're playing the defensive football and you're just playing for results and you're just playing to win. It is a case of you have to win. Otherwise, fans turn on you very, very quickly. And if fans turn on you very, very quickly, you're on borrowed time. And that's exactly what happened with Mourinho and Conte. But with Ange, you can see the philosophy of attacking football on the on the pitch. And it was almost an immediate impact. But now we've had him at the club for a year. He has had that opportunity to integrate his philosophy into the players, integrate his ideas, the training sessions. The players know what he wants, and they know what to do on the pitch. So I think in some ways that gives him a bit more leniency, and it gives him a bit more time for that project to work and it to click to be able to bring that success. How you doing, Bunny, mate? How's it going? Problem is knowing who actually knows what's going on. I'm not sure if you mean in terms of like on the pitch or off the pitch. I don't know if you're relating that to transfers or if you're relating it to sort of like on the pitch. But I think on the pitch, we know what's going on. I think we can see there's a very clear way of playing, and it's playing risky, dangerous football that pays off, hopefully. But yeah. Okay, I think you were talking about transfers. Ali Gold mentioned about the Chiesa stuff. Yeah, I completely get that. He did say it. I think a lot of what I mentioned earlier is the sense that Spurs haven't done too much significant transfer business yet, and because of that, there are links starting to come out relating to players that we don't necessarily have an interest in. So it's a little bit of a frustrating one. I buy into the idea that we'd like a player like Chiesa at the club. I think it's very similar to the Neto situation, where injuries have sort of marred their careers. But if Chiesa was at his best and on his top form, he would have sort of the entirety of Europe possibly wanting to get hold of him. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. But I'm with you, Barney. I want to see us make signings soon, and I think Paul O'Keefe said at the start of the summer we're going to be linked to a lot of names that are just going to be a load of rubbish, and perhaps Chiesa is just one of those. So it is what it is, and we just have to wait and see. Arteta would have been out after 2 seasons if their board had listened to their fans. Sometimes you've got to ride the waves to get to the promised land. Yeah, Zoe, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. And I think Spurs, as much as they probably wouldn't have wanted to, have taken inspiration, quote unquote, from the Mikel Arteta situation at Arsenal. The only difference I would say there is he has spent a lot of money to be where Arsenal are now, and that is the big difference between what Ange has been able to do so far at Spurs and what Arteta has been able to do at Arsenal. However, I agree with the idea that you need to buy into the time and buy into trusting him, trusting that he can bring the right players to the club, trusting that he can implement his sort of trademark on the players as well, especially on the pitch. Ange has brought normalcy back. In my opinion, there's a vision and he's being allowed to do his job. Yeah, absolutely. I think we tried the win now scenario, didn't we? We tried okay, Conte, Mourinho, let's go. Let's win now. Let's get a trophy over the line. And you could argue that perhaps if Mourinho was given that time to lead the Carabao Cup final before he got sacked, maybe we would have won a trophy more recently than 2008. But it wasn't the case. The league form was really poor. We weren't playing good football either. So he had to go. And that was just the same with Conte. It went well for one season and then it became a bit toxic. And when you have personalities like that in the club, it can turn very quickly. And that's what happened. So yeah, let's see what happens with Ange over the next season or so. I think people will be a bit more critical and a bit more judgmental of Ange this season because he has now had that full 12-month cycle of putting his imprint on Spurs and on this team. If we get to the halfway stage of the season and we're still not challenging and we still haven't got to the Carabao Cup final, let's say, that takes place in February, I think people will then start to get increasingly frustrated and a bit annoyed. However, I sitting here before the season starts, before we've made any significant transfer dealings, I would say even now, if we went trophyless next season and we finished outside the top 4, I still wouldn't get rid of Ange. I think Zoe said it quite well earlier. You have to give the time, you have to give the patience, you have to give the funding. So what's the point? What's the point? He's built for one season. If it doesn't go quite right this season, there's no point just cutting ties. That's my personal opinion. You have to give him at least 3 years to see what is his deal, I guess. What is his deal? His trophy is also dubious. That was an Emery team. Yeah, we won't speak about that. I'm sure we've all seen that picture of Mikel Arteta. Let me try and find it quickly. That's been doing the rounds on social media. I want to find it. It's what managing Arsenal and being in the title race against against Man City does. Let me find the yeah, look at this. So you can see what has Mikel Arteta done to himself. So I think this was last season. And then this is in an interview in pre-season now. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this image is edited. His eyebrows look way too sort of like, oh no, but his eyebrows look like that in the first picture as well. He looks like he's been stung by a bee. Is it just me? He looks like he's been stung by a bee. I don't know. It looks crazy, absolutely crazy. It's nuts. But you know, who am I to judge? I can't. I don't know how old he is. He's in the 40s, I think. But who knows how I'll look in my 40s? So I guess we just have to say fair play. No worries, Meth Football Guy. Thanks for popping along. Appreciate you coming on and saying hello. I haven't seen your DM. I struggle with DMs sometimes. So I will have a look at that and get back to you. Appreciate it, bro, and catch you later. Stung by reality. I like that as a parting comment. Looks like Botox. I know. It's bad, isn't it? It's pretty crazy. I feel bad. I'm going to take it off. Let's see what Spurs fans have been saying about the game so far then. Let's have a look on the timeline. What are we saying? Anything in the community? I have a community on Twitter, guys. The Tottenham community. We are over 3,000 strong. So if you want to be part of that, join. You can find the link to it on my profile. Sloppy Jed's asking what people's thoughts on Archie Gray playing centre-back again is. People excited to see a goal or assist from Mikey Moore today. We might well see one in the second half. Let's hope. What else are people saying? Let's go on the following page. Actually, no, go for you. Great round that from the guy George Bannister. It was a really good goal, you know. The Pedro Porro goal was really well worked. It was a great move. I think Britain have won their first gold medal at the Olympics in the women's diving by the looks of it.
So a lot of discussion after
videos. Lily White Rose says if he can stay injury-free, Archie Gray this season will surpass the 52 appearances he made for Leeds last. That is a brave call. I don't know what people think. Do they agree? Do you agree? Do you think that Archie Gray could be a starter for Spurs straight away from the off in the season, and challenge the likes of Maddison, challenge the likes of, well, it wouldn't be Maddison, it would be Basuma or Pat Matassar. Maybe one of the two if they drop in form. Interesting to hear people's thoughts on that. Yeah, lots of praise for Archie Gray, lots of praise for Pedro Porro. The players look like they are just coming back out onto the pitch, and I don't know if we're making any, if many, changes at all. We'll get rid of that, and we'll get the timer back up on the screen. We'll reset it to 0 and be ready to go. Predictions for the second half. Give me some predictions. Looks like we are making a couple of changes. It looks like Lucas Bergvall is on the pitch and Brandon Austin is also going to be taking a turning goal. I'm excited to see Lucas Bergvall, you know. Hopefully he can last longer than the 25 minutes he played against QPR. Oh, I think Vissel Kobe making a few subs as well. I'm not quite sure who Lucas Bergvall is replacing at the moment. We can't do right for wrong. It'll be one or two extremes. Media calling for Ange to be sacked, or they'll tout him for the England job, the City job, or the Chelsea job. Do you know... Oh, Ollie Skip is on the pitch as well. Looks like Lucas Bergvall and Ollie Skip both on. Emerson Royale is still on. Archie Gray's still on. So I wonder if Archie Gray may now move into a more familiar position. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Second half is about to start, guys. Thank you again so much for coming along and watching with me. There are nearly 1,200 people of you. 1,200 of you people across the streams, across Twitter, across YouTube. Don't forget to follow the account if you're new around here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And let's see what Spurs can do in this second half. Coming back to your point, Zoe, I am a little bit concerned about the fact that England need a new manager. Manchester City may need a new manager when it comes to the end of next season. So, what happens if they come in? What happens realistically if start the timer? Game is underway. What happens realistically if Man City come in and say, "We're taking Ange Postecoglou off your hands"? There's absolutely nothing that we can do. Absolutely nothing. Which is just, I hate it. I don't like that. Being obviously one of the big 6 clubs in the Premier League, we shouldn't be able to be bullied by the upper clubs. But if Man City come in and say, we're offering you the job, it's like the perfect gig, isn't it, for someone like Ange? Guaranteed trophies almost. And they'll love the way that he plays over there. Just ridiculous. Consistency is a good season. Agree with that, Barney? Definitely. Kai asking if I could take 3 Chelsea players, who would they be? I don't think I'd take any Chelsea players in the Spurs squad. Cole Palmer. I'll give you Cole Palmer. That's it. Don't need any. Brennan Johnson looks like he's been played in here. Unlucky. Pedro Porro played the ball. Just needed a little bit more on it, and he would have been in, and it would have been 2-1. Well, sorry. That's resting my laurels on Brennan Johnson being able to put it in the back of the net. I forget about Benson Corzo. Honestly, in this pre-season, the midfield talent we have, I've completely forgotten about Benson Core yet to come back from a Copa America. You think he needs a shake-up? Gray could be the best thing to happen to him, or the worst. Look, Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray are going to want to fight for spots in the first 11 straight away. So it's good for the likes of Basuma. It's good for the likes of Pap Sarr to have that competition and that challenge, because if they're not playing well, they'll simply be replaced. And that is how it should be. If you're going to build a squad to be able to compete, you need depth in those positions, and having Gray and Bergvall to provide those challenges, perfect, absolutely perfect. Vissel Kobe won the ball high up here. Think that may be offside, yeah, and no problem. So it looks like Oliver Skipp has gone to left back. I think Ben Davies has come off. So Oliver Skipp at left back, and Lucas Bergvall is on for Yves Basuma. I believe those are the changes. Plus, I think Brandon Austin in goal for Vicario. So not too much tweaking, but a few players. Good to see who he's wanting to give as Brennan Johnson gets in behind here. It's a ball down the line. He plays it across to Sonny. 2-1. Sonny with a goal. Great move. That is Ange football right there. That is Ange football. Ball down the line. Bit of pace and a bit of speed across the box, and it is finished nicely by Son. It's an assist for Brennan Johnson. Another goal for Sonny. Superb. Superb. Time to update that banner again. So Kobe 2. 2-1 to Tottenham. Get that back up. Good goal. It was quite difficult for Sonny, actually, to be able to finish that off. He hits it nicely. He hits it sort of like... Do you remember that Mesut Ozil bounce goal that he scored? Or is it a bounce pass where he sort of like bounced it over the opponent's leg? It was an insane piece of skill. Son sort of scored like that. Ange takes a sip of his water. No reaction whatsoever to that goal. And Sonny pulls out the iconic celebration. That one to the crowd. They love it. That's who they wanted to score. And that is who has scored. And it is 2-1 to Tottenham. And we're only 3 minutes into the second half. Unreal start. Anyway, no Spence on the pitch just yet, Danny. It looks like hopefully he'll come on for the last 20 minutes or so. Like I said, I reckon around the sort of 60-minute mark, we're going to start seeing players come off. Oh, Jamie Donnelly's on as well. Sorry, they're just showing the graphic for the substitutions, and Jamie Donnelly is on as well. It looks like he is playing left back, and Oliver Skipp is playing centre back alongside Emerson Royale now. So Archie Gray has stayed on. Archie Gray is now playing in midfield. I have no idea what formation we're playing. Madders has come off. No? Yes. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm so confused with how they've put the substitutes up. So it looks like we have now got Brandon Austin in goal. Jamie Donnelly at left back, Oliver Skipp and Emerson Royale at centre back, Pedro Porro at right back, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall, Pat Matassar in midfield, and then you've got Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, and Son. That is a team that has come out for the second half. As Spurs look to break with Son here, he loses the ball though, and Vissel Kobe going to look to break. Great tackle by Oliver Skipp there. Looks like he got caught up in the turf a little bit almost as well. Kai saying, if you could bring back one player from the Poch era that isn't Kane or Ali, who would it be? It's a very good question. Very, very good question. From the Poch era, I think the correct answer, it's my opinion, Pedro Porro is just down injured here. It looks like taking a bit of a knock to the knee. The correct answer is probably Moussa Dembele. And I'll die on the hill that Moussa Dembele is one of the best central midfielders that the Premier League has ever seen. You can argue it, but I'm not going to change my mind. So Moussa Dembele, that team was insane. You know, it's almost a criminal offence that team did not win a trophy. We should have won the league. That season, Leicester won the league. All that season, Chelsea won the league. One of those two. We were so good. The classic kit, White Hart Lane, Kane, Son, Ali, Ericsson. Unbelievable. You're making me tearful. You're making me sad. We're going to get rid of that. I can see that go in my head without needing to see the actual footage. Honestly, Zoe, it was trademark. Oh, Lucas Bergvall putting in a bit of a rough challenge there. He sort of just jumped into the side of one of the Vissel Kobe players. Honestly, Zoe, the goal was textbook Tottenham. Textbook Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. I don't know who it was that played the initial ball down the line, but it was over the top of Brennan Johnson. He was quicker than the fullback, so managed to get goal side of him. And it was just a first-time ball all the way across the box, perfectly on a plate for Son. Hits it first time. He almost bounces it into the ground and over the keeper's outstretched leg, and into the net. So it was really good. The pitch is dry. Oliver Skipp's just tried to play a ball into the middle, and it's just almost stopped. And it's given Vissel Kobe the ball. But Skip redeems himself. He puts in a great interception, and Lucas Bergvall's coming away with it now. Plays the ball out to Kulusevski, who tries to turn his man. May have given away a free kick there. Looks like the ref's going to allow it to play on. But yeah, the Don is on. The Don is on. Jamie Donnelly playing inverted left back again, by the looks of it. I'm wondering whether that is purely because Udogie isn't about, or if it's because Ange sees him as a potential left back. I need to ask him. I'm thinking one of my aims, so for those of you that don't know and who are listening, I'm a sports journalist. So I've previously worked for LiveScore. I'm freelancing at the moment with a couple of different companies, working with Goal and a few other places as well. One of the goals for my career is to be able to follow Spurs and go out to the pre-season tour and work while they're on their pre-season tour. I'm so insanely jealous of, great turn from Bergvall in the box. Thought he was going to line up a shot there. Plays it back out to Son. Looks like we're going to recycle the ball. Good defending from Vissel Kobe. I'm so insanely jealous of Alistair Gold and the job that he gets to do, and all the other journalists that cover just Spurs. It's like the dream gig for me. But he is obviously out there sitting in the press box. He gets to explore all of these places. He went out to Australia for the preseason game against Newcastle at the end of last season, out in Japan at the moment. We'll go to South Korea with the team as well. That is just a gig. Being able to go out in pre-season with the Spurs squad and just watch and cover it. It's ridiculous. What a job to have, hey? What a job to have. Those two are going to form some partnership, are Super Swedes. I like that, Super Swedes. Might have to use it in the title of one of my videos. Super Swedes. I'm just trying to think about what the takeaways from the sort of the game so far of me. Which players, Vissel Kobe in here? Oh, they should have scored. Almost similar to the second goal that Spurs scored. There was a ball across the box that really should have been tapped in. Brandon Austin does well to come out and collect the follow-up. Could have been 2-2 there. It was a bit of a let-off for Spurs. What was I mentioning? Yeah, I'm trying to sort of make mental notes about my takeaways from this game. I think Pedro Porro answering the Jed Spence sort of talks. I think Archie Gray, fantastic. Kulusevski has had a really, really good game. Now, Kulusevski got a lot of, I think, unfair criticism last season. And I think it was unfair because although he wasn't necessarily putting up the numbers that we would expect him to when it comes to goals and assists, I do still think he has a very important impact on the way we play our football. And Pedro Porro's lost the ball in a dangerous position here. Vissel Kobe maybe on the break, plays it out to the right winger. Straight into Brandon Austin's gloves. No threat there. I think Kulusevski is really important in the way Spurs play their football, and it's a bit of a interesting one because I still don't know if I prefer him on the wing or as a number 10 or even as a false 9 because he's playing false 9 today, and I think he's doing a very good job of it. I do, genuinely. So you've got to consider the fact that his game is much more than goals and assists. And he's not the quickest player in the world, but that's okay. That's okay for him not to be the quickest player in the world. I think the way he holds the ball up, the way he has the technical ability to be able to get us moving forward, I think will be an important part of our season this season. So, very good question, Zoe. Is Brandon Austin our number 2 now? Great ball in. It's a great question. I think it's very difficult to tell because obviously Fraser Forster's had an injury that's kept him out for a good few months now. Having said that, I do only think they gave him a contract extension because, as I mentioned earlier, with the likes of Davis and Son, he's one of the experienced heads in the squad, and you need a certain number of those types of players in the squad to be able to be successful and to guide and build a team and make them better. Brandon Austin. Now, I don't want to say yes to that. And the reason I don't want to say yes to that is because Luka Gunter, I thought, was sensational in the second half against QPR. He made a couple of really, really good saves. And he looked, it's weird, but he looked like he belonged in that Tottenham kit in goal. So I'm not sure what Andrew's opinions are. I think if you had to say, Brandon Austin probably is going to be the keeper on the bench just because Gunter plays in the academy a lot. But Brandon Austin probably is the number 2 if I had to give you an answer. Gosh, all this talking. We've been live for an hour and a half. Over 1,200 of you on the stream. Do I need to say thank you again? I will anyway. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Hope you're enjoying the game. 2-1 to Spurs as it stands with just over half an hour left to play. A brilliant way to kick off the weekend, by the way. Watching Tottenham on pre-season. Premier League just around the corner. What a treat. They're just showing a replay of the goal again. Brennan Johnson, he did really well. I've been a bit of a critic of Brennan Johnson over the last couple of weeks, but overall, today, he's been really impressive. Emerson Royale has just been spun. Vissel Kobe in here. They've got a 3-on-2. If he can pick out the right cross, great block by Ollie Skip again. Get him in centre-back for the season. Who needs Christian Romero when you've got Oliver Skip? I used to say with the guys that I worked with at LiveScore, Ollie Skip was a generational talent. And boy, was I proved wrong. But, I'm only joking. I didn't actually think he was generational talent. But I did think he was going to be like a mainstay starting Spurs player for a long time. Unfortunately, he hasn't quite lived up to that potential. But he's a useful rotation option. Barney saying Spurs wouldn't have given Ange a 4-year deal if they weren't willing to be patient. And Zoe says exactly right. And you're both spot on. A 4-year deal was a big show of faith in Ange. Considering I think we only gave Mourinho and Conte 2-year deals each. I think the fact that they went straight in with Ange and gave him a 4-year contract off the bat is testament to one, his character, and 2, how important style and philosophy of football is to the likes of Daniel Levy and those at the top. Sonny's just tried to play an outside of the boot ball through to Kulusevski there. Hasn't quite made it. We've got a throw in. And here come the changes. A couple of them. 60-minute mark, as I mentioned. Looks like Mikey Moore and Manus Solomon both coming on as they show another replay of the goal. Brennan Johnson, perfect ball across to Sonny, who meets it at the back post, puts it back across the keeper. Perfect. Perfect. Looks like Sonny is one of the guys that is going to be coming off 60-minute mark. Obviously, we've got to manage his legs a little bit more these days, as Zoe reminded me that he is now 32. He hands the armband to Oliver Skipp. That's a very nice little gesture. Oliver Skipp playing captain in a pre-season friendly for Spurs. It's crazy. Never thought I'd see the day. But he is coming off and Mikey Moore is coming on in replace of him. The South Korean flags are out in the stands. They're all giving him a standing ovation. Off comes the captain. On comes Mikey Moore. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Mikey Moore play again. 16 years old. What a talent, man. Honestly. Looks like Kulusevski will probably continue playing through the middle with Mikey Moore on... Oh, I'm not sure, actually. Oh, no, because it depends. Manus Solomon has just come on the left-hand side. So it depends who he's... I don't actually know who he's replaced. Looks like he's replaced Brennan Johnson. So from what I can see on the pitch so far, Manus Solomon has come on and gone on the left-hand side, and Mikey Moore is playing off the right with Kulusevski still in that false nine role. And by the way, Pedro Porro is playing off the back. Spurs could be in here. Sorry to cut myself off. Jamie Donnelly out to Manus Solomon. Cuts in, gives it back to Donnelly. Donnelly has a shot, hits the post. Donnelly hits the post. That is unlucky. Don't think the keeper got a touch on it. Good play. I think Pedro Porro got fouled originally, but ref let play on. Donnelly played it out to Solomon, who cut inside, sent it back to Donnelly, and he hits it first time, sort of curling left-footed effort. And I'm not sure whether the keeper would have had it covered, but it did come off the post and out for a goal kick. But yeah, as I was mentioning, as Spurs win it back again high up, Pedro Porro is playing like off of Kulusevski. When Spurs have the ball and they're going forward, he's obviously playing that inverted fullback role, but he's playing so high up the pitch that he's standing next to Kulusevski, which is one of the most brilliant things that I've seen Ange sort of employ at the club is how he uses the fullbacks. It's amazing. But yeah, Spurs just enjoying a nice bit of possession here. Bergvall's look neat again as he clips the ball into Porro, who's playing in that striker role. He plays it to Mikey Moore, has the shot. Oh, it's been blocked. That is crazy. It looked like it might have... So Mikey Moore's taken the shot. He's beaten the keeper. There's a Vissel Kobe defender sort of coming around the back of him, and he's gone to slide to block where he thought the shot's gone. And the ball has just like nestled off of his back as it was going in. Could have been another goal for Mikey Moore. There's questions from the Spurs players over whether it was handball. I'm not sure that it was, but we've got it back again. Kulusevski wins it back high up. We're really starting to put the pressure on now. I can feel a third goal coming if it stays like this. I've nearly finished my drink. It's killing my throat. Return of Queen Celine and Spurs are playing. Honestly, the Celine Dion performance yesterday was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. The rest of the ceremony, I just found it was baffling. It blew my mind, honestly. It was pretty crazy. Lasted like 4 hours nearly as well. It was nuts. Thoughts on Solomon's future? I think he'll stay. If I had to suggest something now, I don't think there are really going to be too many interested parties in him because he was injured for last season. Vissel Kobe could be in here. And they've scored 2-2. 2-2, just like that. Literally less than 60 seconds after saying I can feel a third goal come here. Vissel Kobe score. It was a nice goal, to be honest. Banner's getting changed, 2-2. We lose the ball in midfield, and because we have so many players high up the pitch, Vissel Kobe have a lot of men over. It goes out to their right-hand side. I'm not sure who the player is, but he fake shot Skip, goes past him, and then his shot is deflected off of, I think it's Emerson Royale, and past Brandon Austin in goal. A bit frustrating there because we've been absolutely piling the pressure on. There's an alarm going on outside my flat building. Apologies if you can hear that. Hopefully it'll stop. There we go. Stopped already. 2-2 then. 2-2. And here come a load more changes. It looks like Ashley Phillips, Alfie Devine, Will Lancashire are 3 more players set to come on for Spurs. So we are completely ringing the changes now as we enter the last sort of 25 minutes or so of the game. George Abbott's on as well. I nearly said Diane Abbott there. I don't know why. I think leave politics out of it. Anyway, Zoe, back to your sort of question about Solomon's future. I don't think anyone is going to take him just because because he was injured for so long last season. It's a bit of a difficult one, and I think unfortunately there's a bit of controversy surrounding him as well. So I think he will be part of the squad next season. Whether he'll play, I don't know. But it's a difficult one to call, in my opinion. AC Milan not picking up the phone now. I don't think it was Emerson's fault, that one. I think it was just unlucky. He slid to block it, and it just got a bit unlucky. Yeah, so it's George Abbott, Jed Spence, Ashley Phillips, and Will Lancashire have all come on the pitch now. I'm just trying to see who's come off. Pedro Porro is one of the players to have come off. Who else? Emerson is off. Kulizevsky is off. And Papsar is off as well. So I'm just trying to figure out what the formation is. Skip potentially has moved into central midfield now, as here we come with Jed Spence. Tries to play a ball out right to Mikey Moore. Doesn't quite come off. So it looks like our front three are... he wins it back, though. Mikey Moore puts a brilliant cross in. Lancashire, stretches for it. Perhaps should have scored. Very, very unlucky. It was a great ball in. Was that Mikey Moore's ball in? I think it was. To Will Lancashire. And he just doesn't get on the end of it. Stretches for it, but it just goes past him. Very unlucky. So it looks like we've got a front three of Solomon, Lancashire, and Mikey Moore. Midfield looks to be Bergvall, Skip. Bergvall, Skip. I don't even know. Ooh, challenge there from Bergvall. Or is Skip still playing centre-back? He might still be playing centre-back. But Donnelly across the back with Spence, Phillips. Abbott's back there as well. Oh, ball given away by Phillips. Looks like Mikey Moore might be tracking back to get hold of that. Not quite. So, 20 minutes left of the game. It is 2-2 finally poised. Are we going to have a winner in this match? It's been a bit frail defensively. Vissel Kobe haven't had many, if any, chances as they get pulled up for offside. Spurs take it quickly. Off goes Manuel Solomon down the left-hand side. I think he's going to check back. And drive inside. Is he going to try and find the pass? He is. All the way out to the right-hand side. Oh, strike. It's unlucky. But we're 20 minutes left. Trying to think about where the goal comes from. Donnelly with a strike. Oh, tipped over by the keeper. That is a great save. Jamie Donnelly. Ball is fizzed up in the air through a big deflection, and Jamie Donnelly hits it first time on his left foot. It's actually an initial shot from the right-hand side that started the move, but Donnelly's shot is going top bins by the looks of it, and it is tipped over by the goalkeeper and out for a corner. Spurs take that corner short again. Donnelly's going to clip a ball in towards Phillips, who gets his head to it, but nothing too significant, and it goes out for a goal kick. It was unlucky. It was a really good strike by Bergvall. Ashley Phillips on the camera. Alfie Devine has come on and looked bright again. Him and Mikey Moore working together down that right-hand side. I think it's Devine who's in midfield, potentially alongside Skip and Bergvall as well now. As the players pause to take another drinks break, and they just show the second Vissel Kobe goal again. It was a bit of a mix-up from Pedro Porro and Archie Gray. Pedro Porro fizzed it into Archie Gray quite difficultly. He didn't really control it. Vissel Kobe get the ball back, and then they break, and that's where they score their goal from. So it was unlucky, perhaps just a little bit of a lapse in concentration, but the coaches are putting cold towels around the necks of some of the players, giving them plenty of fluids, having some words with them about what they want them to do in this last 20 minutes. Possessions are up, 66% possession, 11 shots and 92% pass accuracy for Spurs in the game overall. So that possession stats come down a little bit from the first half when it was 69, 70%. I just think perhaps legs are starting to get a bit tired now, and Vissel Kobe is sitting in and breaking a bit more often on us. So, yeah. It's been an interesting game from this. It's been a bit fascinating, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm interested to hear what Ange says after the game about what he made of it. Of course, we always have to remember that the ultimate aim of these preseason games is to get the fitness in. But naturally, fans will laugh if Spurs lose. I have a very salty Chelsea fan in the chat trying to get a bite out of me, and it's not going to happen. Here's just one hater on the stream, and there are over 1,300 of you watching or listening in. So, yeah, really appreciate all the support. I mentioned it in the first half, but I'll mention it again now while there's a bit of a break going on in the game. You can find me on all of the social platforms, on X or Twitter, which is where I'm sure most of you are watching from at the moment. Over on YouTube, we're trying to hit 300 subscribers before the season starts. So any love you could show me over there would mean the world to me. You can find the link to my channel in my bio on Twitter if you're interested in coming and seeing some videos I've got on Spurs and some of the new players. You can see tomorrow I will have a new video out about Spurs' striker hunt. I've talked about which striker I think we should be signing and which ones we've been linked with for most of the transfer window. And then I'm also over on TikTok as well, where I do a lot more short form Spurs content. And I'm sure I'll be doing a couple of videos on this game when it is finished. So yeah, that is the plug done. Back to the game. Spurs have got possession on the edge of the Vissel Kobe box. Skip plays a lovely ball into Spence. Spence out to Devine. Ball across from Devine there. And it looked like Will Lancashire was pulled down there as he went to score. It was a brilliant move. So Skip fires it into Jed Spence. Jed Spence plays it into Jamie Donnelly. Donnelly out to Devine. Plays it across goal. It's a brilliant teasing ball across the goal. Will Lancashire's going for it again. And he does just get his shirt pulled as he's going to poke the ball in. And it's unlucky. Ange has got his hands on the back of his head, rubbing them up like this. It was unlucky. Could have been the third Spurs goal there. And they've got a Vissel Kobe player down with what looks like a bit of cramp at the moment. He is back up now. I think he's going to be subbed off for the last 15 minutes or so. Mikey Moore doesn't look 16, by the way. Can I put it out there? Although maybe he does look 16. In a world of Luke Littlers, Mikey Moore, perhaps he does look 16. But I think both Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall both look younger than him. They're both 2 years older than him. So, yeah, what do I know? I'm not good at identifying sort of how old people are by looking at them. As I mentioned with Son in the first half, I said he was 30 before Zoe reminded me that he's 32, which is just a little bit depressing. We're so close to the end of Son's career. I don't know how many more years he's going to be at Spurs. I know he's going to sign a new one-year contract to keep him until the end of 2026. But yeah, it's sad to see that era of Spurs players come into the end of their career here. Manor Solomon dances past a couple of players in the Vissel Kobe half, but he does check back, plays it to Bergvall. Bergvall's been quite active. He's putting the ground in, putting the work in with his legs. Jed Spence is looking to get involved on the other side now as well. Alfie Defian's getting on the ball a lot, as is Mikey Moore. They are two players that look very, very hungry. hungry to prove themselves. I think Alfie Devine in particular, after a couple of successful loan spells, is thinking, right, I need to finally break into this first team if I can. And he's doing all that he can in pre-season so far to try and prove that. I don't mind it at all. Bergvall with a nice little turn, but he does lose the ball. Vissel Kobe away again here. He's offside. Miles offside. Phillips gets back to cover him anyway, but comes from Lucas Bergvall losing the ball. And as I've mentioned already, because when we have possession, we commit both our fullbacks up. If we do lose it in a dangerous position, it makes us very vulnerable to a counter-attack. Cool. How are we at the final 15 minutes of this game so far already? Final 15 minutes already. Crazy. Ooh, Ashley Phillips. That is a late tackle, and he might be picking up a yellow card here. Yeah. Not that yellow cards mean anything in this friendly, but Ashley Phillips has the ball. He plays a bit of a skew pass out towards Mikey Moore on the right-hand side, and then he lunges in with a late challenge to try and win it back and completely wipes the player out. Might hurt on that turf, to be honest. I'm still trying to figure out whether it's artificial, but Spurs have won the ball here. Manuel Solomon's charging away up the left-hand side. Can't quite beat his man. Well, he sort of did beat his man. Won a throw-in out of it. And he's got the ball again just outside the box. Plays it to Donnelly, clips it in. Oh! Header over the bar from Mikey Moore. It's another chance. It's another chance. It's a ball in from Jamie Donnelly. Clips it all the way to the back post. Mikey Moore is there. He's got no one around him. And he heads it straight over the bar. He almost does a diving header. And he puts it straight over. And Ange again on the sidelines. He's like this. Got hands up. And he turns around and he smiles to his coaching staff on the bench. It's unlucky though. Mikey Moore's had a good couple of chances. Here come Vissel Kobe now, playing it down left-hand side. Ashley Phillips is looking a bit stretched in centre-back. Looking a little bit stretched. He gets hold of the ball there, though, and puts it out for a throw-in. Alfie Devine doesn't want to be forgotten man. Yeah, agree with that. The thing is now, Zoe, where we are signing so many young players and where we have so many coming through the academy, the competition is so high. There are so many people that want a spot in that first team. Vissel Kobe played a dangerous ball there. Skip wins it. Played out to the left-hand side. And Manuel Solomon, is he going to cut in and have a shot? I think he is, but it is the wrong decision. Possibly should have played it. One more pass. It's blocked. Out to Jamie Donnelly. Here comes Solomon again. Tries to beat his man. Can't. Does almost win the ball back, but to no avail. I'm surprised Josh Keeley hasn't featured pre-season. This is what I mean, Barney. The competition with how many academy players we have is so high that it is just impossible for everyone to get a run out. Ange has to make those decisions as to which academy products he thinks have the best talent and have the best chance of being able to actually break into the team. So, unfortunately for people like Josh Keeley, unless he's got an injury or something that I'm unaware of, it's just, it's just one of those. It's just one of those, unfortunately. Spurs keeping some nice possession here. You feel that they're going to get another couple of big chances before this game's over. Jed Spence is doing really well in that inverted role again, picking up the ball, taking the touch and passing forwards as well. Lucas Bergvall's taking it nicely on the turn here. Plays it to Lancashire, but he's offside. A few offsides in this second half. Getting a little bit sloppy. He's quite far offside, Lancashire, actually, there. Should do a bit better with time in his run. There's no one in the box anyway, to be fair, because that's where he should be. If that was Harry Kane, people would be fuming. Harry Kane, you need to be in that position. Leave him alone, man. Leave him alone. I like Will Lancashire. Will Lancashire, Mikey Moore, Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray. The four top young talents for me in that Tottenham squad. I know, obviously, Archie Gray has come from Leeds and Bergvall's come from Sweden, but I think more in Lancashire and then very closely followed by Devine and Tyrese Hall out of the academy, just wow, just incredible, honestly. I think they're obviously, Zoe, when you say Lancashire Kane comparisons, we're not comparing Lancashire to like prime Harry Kane, where he's banging in 30 plus goals a season. We're comparing him in terms of style of play and where Kane first started out as Bergvall tries a shot from long range, but it's blocked. I think Lancashire plays in a very, very similar way to how Harry Kane does. I think he's got a similar build, and his technique is frighteningly similar as well. In terms of the way that he strikes the ball, I think his goal against, was it Hearts, was pretty reminiscent of a typical Kane finish. And it's nice to see someone of that stature and the way that Harry Kane plays come through in the club as well, because we know how successful it's been in the past. And if Lancashire can have half as good a career that Kane had at Spurs, then it's probably a success. Kane is just like a freak in terms of how good he was. And yeah, I was literally about to mention this, and you've just said it as well. Lancashire, a boyhood Spurs fan to boot as well. It seems almost written in the stars, doesn't it? That a player like Lancashire should come through the squad and get his breakthrough. And I made a video, a YouTube short on Lancashire and the use of young talent at Spurs. And I said in it, you've got to remember that that Tim Sherwood literally just threw Harry Kane onto the pitch. Things weren't going necessarily amazing for Spurs at the time. Striker options weren't necessarily all that, as Vissel Kobe looked like they might threaten here. No, Spurs win it back as well. Well done by Donnelly there to play it back to the keeper under a bit of pressure. Harry Kane was thrown onto the pitch. Ultimately, loans can only do so much for you. Playing in the academy can only do so much for you. The way you are successful at a club like Tottenham is by getting opportunities and minutes in the first team and taking those minutes and doing something useful with them. Dane Scarlett is probably the prime example that I will use, who has had first team minutes in the past, albeit he's never really started any games, as Spence unlucky to get in the way of a cross there and send it out for a goal kick. Dane Scarlett has had minutes on the pitch in Premier League games, but he's never really done too much with that opportunity. Mikey Moore came on at the end of 2 Premier League games last season, and I think he impressed enough to the extent that Ange is probably going to use him a bit more this season. The same needs to be said of someone like Lancashire. If he gets that opportunity to come on the pitch and perform, he needs to take it. And that is where I think it is so good that Spurs are in the Europa League this season as well. I think where we're playing so many games, and especially with this new format where I think you play a couple more games rather than it depends if you get into the playoffs, but with the new table format in the Europa League, it gives that opportunity to players like Mikey Moore, the players like Will Lancashire, the players like Alfie Devine, as Lancashire looks like he could be in here. He latches onto a ball down the line. He's got it on the corner of the box, got a 3-on-2 here. He looks to play it across to Jed Spence, but like I said, with the pitch being so dry, it just doesn't get there. With these Europa League games, it's just such an opportunity for the players to prove that they can hack it at the level required and the level that Ange expects. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for the Europa League this year. One, because I think we can genuinely win it with the team and the manager that we have. And two, because these talents will have that opportunity to have a run out in those games, especially maybe in the first couple. And if they can take that opportunity, then that gives them the pathway to be able to play in the Premier League across the season. Vissel Kobe lining up a shot here. I think it's it didn't even get deflected. Pochettino had a divided, toxic dressing room. He looked to the likes of Kane, Mason, Bentaleb, and that was the start of the real togetherness with the squad and the fans. It's vital to garner that. Yeah, exactly. You've got to keep a lot of the same crop around. You've got to have those core players, embed them into the core of what the team is, make sure there's a good environment. And I think Ange has done that over the first 12 months. James Maddison spoke quite highly of him in his press conference yesterday, or was it the day before? No, I think it was yesterday, about the fact that that Ange has done so well over the first 12 months. But he agreed with the mentality that the manager has, and that is that they want to kick on. They want to see silverware. Spence plays a ball across. Oh, keeper gets a hand to it, and it probably stops Spurs scoring there. Jamie Donnelly's got the ball, plays it out to Solomon. Solomon tries a right-footed shot from the corner of the box, but sends it out for a goal kick. Another close one. Spence with the shot there, forcing, well, not necessarily think it was a shot. Great work from Mikey Moore to get on the ball down the right-hand side. Plays a nice little ball to Spence, who tries to play it across. Keeper gets a hand to it. Otherwise, I think it's, Lancashire is there again to tap it in. It's unlucky there. About 5 minutes left of the game. Time's running out for Spurs to find that winner. 1,365 of you watching along. Do you think that they're going to find the winner? Let me know. Sounds like they're playing with fuzzy felt. I'll be honest with you. I haven't been watching the game with commentary or sound on. A personal preference for the Spurs play stuff. Danny says, do you think we will keep Spence? I do. I think because Emerson Royale is going to AC Milan, I think it's just a matter of time before a deal's agreed. And I think Spence will be the man to replace him in the squad as a backup for Pedro Porro, and hopefully for competition for him as well. I think he's a good player. I think he's played relatively well in this second half again for Spurs. And let's hope that he sticks around and can have that impact we were hoping that he could have when we initially signed him from Middlesbrough. Whew. We're getting close to the end. We have been live for nearly 2 hours. I've really enjoyed this watch along, by the way. I'm looking forward. I'm going to be doing these for every preseason game. So it'll be against the K-League All-Stars on Wednesday, and then against Bayern Munich on the Saturday, and then against Bayern Munich again the following Saturday after that. Who'd have seen this Spence redemption arc, blimey? Yeah, I genuinely thought we were going to sell him last summer. I thought he was going to be gone. I didn't even think he was going to be part of the squad when Ange came in. But obviously with him being sent out of loan, Ange obviously would have had scouts keeping an eye on him while he was playing overseas. But he's actually probably had a chance to talk to him one-on-one and get gauge an idea of what and where Spence's head at as the ball across and is put in. Mikey Moore, is it? Mikey Moore scores 87th minute. 87th minute to win the game for Tottenham. It's that man again. Great move from Spurs all round. I think it's Jamie Donnelly with an assist. And it looks like Spurs are going to keep their winning run in pre-season alive with a goal right towards the death. Starts with Lucas Bergvall out, who plays it out to Abbott. Abbott plays it across to Solomon. Jamie Donnelly's making that run on the left-hand side. He gets the ball, plays it across first time into Mikey Moore, who has an empty net to tap it into. And it is 3-2 to Tottenham. Lovely stuff. Mikey Moore keeping up his record. Another goal in pre-season for him. Ange celebrates with a light round of applause. He looks happy. The players look happy. Mikey Moore and Jamie Donnelly celebrate together. Amazing to see. Amazing to see, honestly. Brilliant stuff. Looks like Vissel Kobe are going to make one more change. Throw everything at it for the last 2 minutes of the game. But yeah, I told you these youngsters would entertain again in the second half. As soon as the changes were made, it was just, making those changes, sticking the youngsters on, and they've come up clutch again. Is that going to be echoing around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this season, Zoe? I don't know. We'll see. I reckon it will probably be more likely he gets. He's one of our own sung around the stadium. I think that's what he's been getting so far in pre-season. Just over a minute to go then here, and it looks like Spurs are content to just keep the ball and pass it around the back. Vissel Kobe aren't really pressing, even though they've got a lot of attackers on the pitch now. Spurs are just making sure to keep it and seeing things out, rounding off the win as well. What have I made of the overall performance? I think encouraging. Again, I think it's been an encouraging performance. I think that with how many changes get made across the entire game, I think the first half was decent enough. Perhaps maybe not creating as many clear-cut chances as we would like. I've enjoyed the second half more. Waiting for someone to pick up the pun on that, by the way. I've enjoyed the second half more. Mikey Moore, to be specific. We know what we're going to get with a lot of the players that started the game. And when you see the likes of Lucas Bergvall come on, when you see Jed Spence, Alfie Devine, Mikey Moore, Will Lancashire all come on the pitch, it just adds that extra level and layer of excitement because they're playing for a place in the squad next season. And that means the stakes are higher. It means they're going to put their all into it. Whereas I don't want to say that the starting players are necessarily going to go through the motions, but they are going to be maybe a little bit more wary. They know that they're in and around that squad. They know, some of them, that they have a place in the starting 11. 3 minutes added on at the end of the game, by the way, as Vissel Kobe attack. They might get an equaliser here. They got one over. Good defending from Abbott there. And Donnelly plays it out nice and calmly to Solomon. They know that they're going to be in and around the squad, so they may not necessarily put 100% into it. For them, it's more about building their fitness levels up rather than performing and scoring goals and making sure that they're the ones being talked about. Whereas these younger crops of players, they want the headlines. They want to be at the top of the reports. People want to be making videos about them, analysing them. So it's been a really eye-opening second half again, especially for these young players. With Mikey Moore scoring again, how can you deny that he is someone that is going to have a role to play in this first team next season? He keeps cropping up and he keeps doing the business across different positions as well, whether it's in a number 10 role, whether it's as a false nine, whether it's as a winger. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to see. And they've got a bit of defending to do here just for the last couple of minutes. Jed Spence does well to close down a cross, but he does send it out for a corner. Hopefully we don't concede in this last little bit. Sonny, how's it going, my man? How you doing, buddy? Hope you had a good time over in the Euros with TalkSport. It looked absolutely class, mate. Appreciate you coming along and tuning in for a little bit. Over 1,400 of you live as we get to the last minute of this game then. It's been a really good one, as I've mentioned. I need to plug my laptop in. It's about to run out of charge. Corner's delivered in. It bounces about in the box a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be carried away by Manuel Solomon. Agree, Zoe. Youngsters look so quality. It's mad. Agreed. Nothing more really to be said about it, is there? Nothing more to be said. We have such a good crop of young players. Just counting down the last 30 seconds or so of this game then. And as I mentioned, overall, another good run out for Spurs. I think Ange will be happy with what he's seen on the pitch. I think he will have lots to think about as we head into the game against the K-League stars. And the games against Bayern Munich, I think, are going to be the most telling because they want to play a strongest team for those games. And obviously they are the preseason games that are closest to the season starting. So any of those young players that do manage to get on and get minutes and play and maybe even start against Bayern Munich, that's perhaps when we can get an indication of, okay, this is serious now. They're going to have a role to play for Spurs in that starting squad over the 2024-25 season. Going to draw a breath as the referee blows his final whistle. It is finished here, full-time, Tottenham 3, Vissel Kobe 2. A good run out across the board for all of the players. Camera pans to Huminson, of course, and a lot of the other players who still look incredibly hot and bothered, by the way. Archie Gray had a great showing. He did, Ed. You are right. He had a great showing in the first half. Looked decent. Cameras are all on Mikey Moore. He scored the winner and had another good game. He had another good game. Is there anything that lad can't do? Turned 17, I think, on like the 11th of August or something. So the 3 goals for Spurs from Pedro Porro, Hummins on Mikey Moore. Goals for Vissel Kobe from Osako and Patrick. Don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But yeah, it's been a good morning. A good morning / afternoon. Nearly 1 o'clock. We've been live for over 2 hours. Nearly 1,500 of you on the live. Just thank you so much for watching. Unfortunately, I can't stick around for too long as I've got to go and have some lunch and go and have a few drinks and enjoy the lovely Saturday sunshine in the UK that we're having at the moment. It's hot and sweaty, and I am looking forward to a couple of really nice drinks. But yeah, that is the first game of Tottenham's pre-season tour in Japan and South Korea done. Won 3-2 against Vissel Kobe, goals from Pedro Porro, Heung-min Son and Mikey Moore. We move on to the game on Wednesday against the K-League All-Stars, where we should hopefully get to see a run out from new signing Min Hyuk Yang. And then it will be on to Bayern Munich in South Korea. Harry Kane won't be available for that game, but I believe he may play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a week before the season starts. Lewis with a departing comment here. I hope Werner Solomon don't take up Mikey's minutes this season. I'm completely agree with you, mate. I think Solomon and Werner. I think Mikey Moore's better than them. I've said it. Make of that what you will. But yeah, it is what it is. Again, thank you so much to every single one of you that has tuned in this morning, this afternoon. I was not expecting the numbers that have been on this live with me. Zoe in particular, Danny as well, Barney. Thank you so much for your support without and engaging in the comments and giving me plenty to talk about. Really appreciate everyone else that commented and came along to the live stream as well. I will be back on Wednesday for the K-League All-Star game. So make sure you're following all my social accounts to ensure that you don't miss it. I'm at Mitch_Fretton. You can see it on the name here on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok. You can find me all over the place. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you've watched it on YouTube as well. And if you're watching it back now, really appreciated all the support. As I mentioned earlier, you'll never understand how much stuff like that means to me. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. I'll have a new YouTube video out on Tottenham Striker Hunt tomorrow morning, so look out for that. And I will catch you guys on Wednesday. See you soon. Oh, and come on, you Spurs.